There's a website by the name of Cultured Vultures, and it covers television shows, movies, and video games. Apparently, this was established in 2013. Now, I'm looking at the website, and a writer by the name of Harry Alexander had posted an article to this website. The website is entitled How Family Guy Lost Its Way. And most of you already know Family Guy is/was one of America's most beloved adult cartoons. And I don't know how much longer it's going to last, hence the title of this video. So let me give you some of what he said in here. Few shows seem to have lost the plot so spectacularly as Family Guy. Seth MacFarlane's animated Titan has always provoked outrage and debate from both sides of the cultural divide, but there was a time when the show's legions of fans were ever willing to step in to defend their subversive champion with unquestioning devotion. But it seems the mood has shifted. Rather than being a divisive and socially relevant cartoon that lampooned the nuclear American family and took things to places it felt The Simpsons was unwilling to tread, few would readily jump to the aid of the Griffin clan in 2022. Let me stop right there for a second. So, I agree with part of that. It said it took it to places that they felt The Simpsons wasn't willing to tread. One of the reasons why The Simpsons chose not to push the envelope to that degree is because they didn't want to lose viewership, or they didn't want to risk losing fans. That's why they've been a little bit more consistent in terms of the type of humor that they use. They didn't do too much character development. So, I mean, that's part of it. They even made a joke. There was a joke about that in the show, that they made fun of South Park for doing it. Of course, we know how that goes. Before I get back to that, let me finish this. More than 20 years after its opening season, Family Guy has lost the semblance of credibility to which it once clung. Nowadays, Family Guy is the internet's cultural whipping boy. Now, why exactly did I pull this up, or why are they talking about this? Well, I'll tell you. So, as a person who's been a fan of this show for a long time, and you can kind of say I'm still a fan, what I have noticed, and what a lot of people have noticed, is that it's just not as funny as it used to be. Now, some people are just straight up saying it's not funny at all anymore. Some people have given up on watching it. I was just curious to know what some of the articles were saying about that, in terms of what happened. You know, if you look at Family Guy from the first 5 seasons, and then look at the last 5 seasons, it's almost a totally different show. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. I don't know how it happened. And it says that things changed in 2002 after McFarlane's Baby was canceled and then rebooted following its 3rd season, with arguably the strongest run, season 4, debuting in 2005. It was here that the show changed course, ditching the traditional setup, knockdown gags of the past for the surreal, zippy humor that would become its trademark. Let's fast forward down a little bit here. Family Guy's golden period sees some of the show's strongest writing, while its cutaway gags, these days decried as lazy and outdated, remain fresh and diverting rather than confusing and arbitrary. It's surprising that these seasons also coincided with the rise of video streaming sites such as YouTube, which provided ideal platforms for these self-contained sketches. Perennial favorites including Alan Rickman's Answering Machine, Peter Narrates His Own Life, Cookie Monster, and Rehab, and Will Smith's Clean Rap have racked up millions of views online. These days are long gone, and much like The Simpsons, Family Guy has been suffering from the laws of diminishing returns. I still think that The Simpsons has a higher chance I still think they're going to go on a lot longer than Family Guy ever probably will at this point. That's kind of a different, there was also this right here. This says season 13 of Family Guy had only 5.9 million viewers on average. Since 2005, the ratings have continued to slowly decline and drop. In season 4 of Family Guy, 7.9 people watched Family Guy every Sunday night. But over the course of 9 years, the ratings have continued to slow down to around 5 million viewers an episode. So it begs the question, why are people not watching this show like they used to? Don't get me wrong, there are still a couple of good moments now and then, but it looks as though the show's writing has taken a turn for the worse. Nowadays, Peter talks to the audience, breaking the fourth wall every 5 minutes. I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, they have done that a little more. The storylines are completely ridiculous with 20-second conclusions. Not entirely sure what that means. The cutaways are getting longer to basically waste time, and character development is pathetic. I agree with part of that. The cutaways are kind of getting less and less. It's getting more and more senseless, and character development, I think they kind of overdid that. It says Brian used to be the voice of reason, and now he's a jerk. Stewie was an evil genius. Now he's a character only there for gay jokes. A lot of it, not all of it. It seems that after 13 seasons, they can literally write anything they want because they will still make money. So I think what it comes down to is people are just arguing. Okay, the show apparently just ran out of ideas for stuff, and now it seems like they're just throwing anything in there. Now, I will say this. The show is going to start season 21 this fall, which I believe is later this month, if not next month. I will say that as a person who's been a fan of the show for a long time, I mean, I still watch it. I figure I'll just watch it to the end since it's almost done anyway. I think the show is on its last leg. It doesn't look like there's any indications of the show getting any better in terms of bringing back its lost viewership or just revamping it back to, or just bringing it back to what it used to be. They have just completely lost it. South Park's Trey Parker and Matt Stone have been outspoken on their dislike for their animated rival, admitting, quote unquote, we do hate it. We just don't respect it in terms of writing. When Cartoon Wars, the South Park episode which lambasted the Family Guy airing, Stone and Parker spoke of receiving calls from writers of both The Simpsons and King of the Hill, thanking them for, quote unquote, doing God's work. South Park's parodic barbs were rooted in its creators' beliefs that this rival cartoon was plagued with lazy writing and easy gags, an assessment that has only grown increasingly opposite. Family Guy's downward trajectory has now led to it being almost universally despised by critics and audiences alike. The show's characters have arguably seen the sharpest decline in quality, the Griffins suffering particularly from changes that have rendered them inferior shadows of their former selves. Once where Peter was a lovable idiot, now he is vindictive and ignorant to the point of farce. Chris and Meg continue to struggle to command a meaningful narrative between them, their characters regressing to two-dimensional adolescent caricatures used respectively as a perennial punching bag, or source of cheap gags about sexual stuff. Whereas once the Griffins operated as a dysfunctional but somewhat cohesive family unit, now most dynamic center of mutual hatred and disillusionment. You know what? I agree with some of that. It's, unfortunately, I know a lot of the die-hard Family Guy fans don't like to hear this, but I don't think it's going to go on that much longer. My prediction is that it's going to probably, I can see them doing one, maybe two more seasons before getting canceled. Now, again, the title of this video comes in the form of a question. It's not saying Family Guy is going to be canceled. It's a question. It's asking, is Family Guy going to be canceled soon? Will Family Guy be canceled soon? And my prediction is after a couple more years, yeah, most likely. And, whenever they do cancel, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked or hurt or depressed. Because, it ran for a long time. Sometimes shows only go on for so long. And after this many seasons, after 20 seasons, it's like, hey, good job, Seth MacFarlane and the team, you did it. But I don't know. They're just kind of running out now. It's not really going anywhere anymore. It's just not what it used to be. Classic Family Guy was great. It was hysterical. Family Guy has run out of ideas, as I had just said. Hardly a shameful predicament for a show pushing into its 21st season and suffering from the continued absence of the man who helped birth it. The episode The Simpsons Guy may have been successful, but it's rarely the sign of a cartoon operation at full strength when it enlists its greatest rival for a crossover. Road to India should have been Family Guy in its element, but two obvious jokes about Bendis, and call centers left it feeling tired and stale in comparison to finer Road to outings. Audiences seem increasingly justified in echoing Parker and Stone's criticisms of that Family Guy is a relic out of step. with okay, some of this isn't worded right. I think put some of this out of, I think some of you get the gist. Out of step with a new generation of viewers. Probably should have grammatically checked that, but I get the gist. So, to all you that are diehard fans, like I said, keep watching it to the end. I'm sure I probably will. I'll get to the other shows in another video. Any flashes of brilliance are few and far between. Family Guy's writers have pushed their characters as far as they will go and seem unaware of what to do with them. Nastiness and cynicism have infected a creation once filled with wit and anarchic satire, while reused narratives and recurring plot devices feel stale and repetitive. That could be true too. Seth MacFarlane hasn't been creatively involved with the show since 2010. His absence keenly felt by the show's writers and in turn its audience. Okay, that explains it. See, I didn't know that at first. He wasn't that involved. Family Guy has lost the plot and strayed from its identity in search of the relevance it once enjoyed. If things continue the way they're going, it's a relevance it will likely never see again. Again, people, it's a question. Will it be canceled soon? Not it's going to be canceled soon. Don't be surprised at what happens. We're going to see what happens. We're going to see how this next season does. It's probably going to be about the same as the last couple, which was, you can say poor to some episodes were half decent. But we'll see how much longer this show goes on for.